Patriots fans are delusional, and they've been delusional for decades now at this point because they just always assume that things are going to go their way. Why? Because most Patriot fans are fans of the Boston Bruins, of the Boston Red Sox, and fans of the Boston Celtics. And what does the city of Boston, the New England area, just continue to do basically through my 28 years of life? It's win, win, and win. So they just continue to think that in this Super Bowl against the Seahawks, the Patriots are going to find a way to come out on top. And I'm actually sick and tired of it. And at this point in the season, at this point in the build-up to Super Bowl week, we have to go through on this episode of Seahawks Today and discuss how silly they're being and why the Seahawks are going to come out on top in Super Bowl 60. If you want the Seahawks to go in and beat the Patriots, like this video. Don't jinx it. Don't be the one who doesn't come in and smash that thumbs up button. I saw this tweet on social media, and it was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in this situation. I got into a situation where this was just too much for me to take. This person, Matthew Friedman, or whatever the heck his name is, basically goes through a list of the opponents that the Seahawks played and who the quarterbacks were for them. And he essentially goes through and says, well, Jaden Daniels was hurt. Jacoby Brissett sucks. Division QB. That division QB that he doesn't mention there, that's Matt Stafford, a guy who's probably going to win the MVP. He goes through rookies, backups, and then when you get to Brock Purdy again, it's, oh, that's a division QB. That's a division QB that we're not going to name their actual name on this list. And so instantly I was mad. I'll be honest, I was triggered. I was on social media and I was upset and I was triggered and I was fuming to the point where I was complaining to Chugs and Searle and all the other great guys here at Chat Sports saying this is ridiculous. How can the Patriots continue to go out and take away all of the good quarterbacks and the good teams that the Seahawks played and say, well, those guys don't count. Your schedule is easy because you only played bad teams and bad quarterbacks. So today, we're going to go through all of the points that Patriots fans have and are continuing to use as reasons why the Patriots are going to come out on top against the Seahawks. The first, and I do think it is very important as we go through these delusions to really dive into the first point that I really want to make sure that we go through is the fact that Patriots fans still seem to think, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, that Sam Darnold isn't a good quarterback. I don't know where this narrative continues to persist because what it is Patriot fans refusing to actually look at what the big facts are and the key stats are around this quarterback that is leading the Seattle Seahawks. Before we get into that, though, I got to let you know about the sweet t-shirt I've got on right now. Mob Shirts, $34.99 at chatsports.com/Mob Shirt. We've got the black. We've got the navy. The thing is freaking sweet. I'll tell you right now, there isn't a cooler t-shirt that you can go and grab. So do it now while supplies still last. Sam Darnold has clearly had a fantastic season this year as the starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. Yet Patriot fans look at this stat line and say, well, he actually isn't all that good. And when I look at Darnold's stat line, yeah, I'm going to complain a little bit about the turnovers. It's a little bit too high. Interceptions are a little bit too high. Fumbles are a little bit too high. But when you look at his completion percentage, his yards, his touchdowns, his QBR, does that look like a bad quarterback stat line? Does that stat line for Sam Darnold, which is through the entire year of 2025, look poor to you? Because I'll tell you right now, when I look at the stat line that Darnold has put out this season, it looks like a pretty damn good quarterback to me. And now Patriot fans are going to say, well, it's actually just a one-off. And I can get why you might say, hey, early on in Darnold's career, he really struggled. And in 2022, you'd be correct. Sam Darnold sucked in 2022. Sam Darnold sucked in 2023. He wasn't a very good quarterback. In 21, he wasn't a good quarterback. He wasn't a good quarterback at the beginning of his career because he was put in a situation, in multiple situations, where he was supposed to fail. When you look at the last 2 years, when he's had teams that have trusted him, when Darnold has had teams that believed in him, what does he do? He succeeds. He's had back-to-back years where he's over 65% completions. He's had back-to-back years where he's over 4,000 yards passing. Back-to-back years where he's at 25-plus touchdowns. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback, and people are too stuck in the past. How often do we have to look at Darnold's stats the past 2 years and say, well, we need to go back and make sure that we really dive into what type of quarterback Darnold was when he was in New York and when he was in Carolina? Because Darnold has fixed all of the mistakes, or at least most of them, since he has become a quarterback the last 2 seasons on starting playoff caliber teams. Patriot fans refuse to look at the last 2 seasons and continue to look at the previous 3 to 4 before that, instead of really diving in and understanding that Darnold is a good QB and will be a good QB in the National Football League for years to come. Will Sam Darnold ever get the respect that he deserves? Let me know down below in the comment section, yes or no. At this point, I think barring a Super Bowl victory here, I don't know that anybody will ever actually give Darnold the respect that he truly deserves. He is a good quarterback. And even if Darnold wins the Super Bowl this year, I don't know if he'll get the credit that he has earned. So let me know what your opinion is down below in the comment section, yes or no. The other delusion that I really want to make sure that I dive into here and point out is the fact that Patriots fans think the Seahawks had a weak schedule. We showed you in that first social graphic some of the issues that clearly the Seahawks team had as they were going through their schedule, right? Hey, the Seahawks played a bunch of backup quarterbacks. The Seahawks did not play a bunch of good QBs. In fact, this is coming from Hank Lockwood of Pardon My Take. He had the take earlier on that I saw on Instagram, besides the NFC West, and this is a quote from him, their schedule is not that crazy either. What is Hank Lockwood talking about? Well, he's talking about the fact that there are a multitude of experts, fans that say the Patriots have an easy schedule. That's why you hear Drake May being called Drake the Schedule May. But what Lockwood is trying to point out or trying to allude to is saying, well, if you look at the schedule for the Seahawks and you take out all the good teams, well, then the Seahawks actually didn't play that difficult of a schedule. When I look at what Hank and what Dave Portnoy and the rest of the New England Patriot fans are trying to come in and create a narrative around is ludicrous when it comes to the schedule. How can we sit here and pretend that the Seahawks didn't play one of the more difficult schedules in the National Football League? The Seahawks cannot be punished for playing in the best division in all of football, because that's what Patriot fans are trying to do. Look at the schedule comparisons. The Patriots had the easiest schedule in the National Football League. Now, I'm not here to say that the Patriots aren't very good. In fact, I'm here to say the opposite. I still think they're a very good team. But to pretend like they didn't have a cakewalk, easy path to be in this Super Bowl is a lie. When you look at the Seahawks, they have the 4th most difficult schedule in the National Football League. Why? Because they played a bunch of good teams in the NFC West, but more so, they played a multitude of other good teams throughout the year in their conference and in the AFC. Look at the Patriots' schedule. Raiders sucked. By the way, they lost that game. They played the Miami Dolphins twice. Their ass. The Jets, buns. Panthers, that ended up being a playoff team along with the Steelers. But to sit here and say, oh, watch out, big game, I'd say that would be a lie. When you look at the Browns, the Titans, you look at the Saints, not good at all. Giants are horrible. So you go through that schedule, there aren't a whole lot of good teams on there. Now, I would say Buffalo, of course. Baltimore, good team. Didn't make the postseason, by the way. Falcons, not very good. Tampa Bay, not very good. They didn't make the postseason. Bengals didn't make the postseason. There's not a whole lot of playoff teams on their schedule. When you look at what the Seahawks had to go through this year, hey, San Fran twice ended up being 3 times because of the postseason. Rams, 3 times because of the postseason. Jags are a pretty darn good team. They made the postseason. Texans are a pretty darn good team. They made the postseason. Steelers, they're a pretty darn good team. They made the postseason. You look through that schedule, oh, hey, by the way, those are some pretty good teams that they played, and I didn't really go into what was going on with the Panthers and the Jaguars, 2 teams that also made the postseason. So to sit here and say that the Seahawks didn't have a good run or have a difficult schedule, sure, Jan, whatever you say. Because at that point, you just are being delusional towards your own fan base. You are not looking at the real facts about what this Seahawks team had to go through to earn the position that they are in. There's a reason why so many people, experts, just fans of football, you're casual, hey, I tune in to some of the big games of the National Football League. There's a reason why everyone says it's the Seahawks, because we've seen it on paper. They've gone through a more difficult path, and they've looked better doing it. I got a couple other delusions that I want to dive into in just a moment. But before I do that, I need to let you know about this sweet vacation that I'm going to take later on in this summer. But in order for me to be able to take that sweet vacation, I needed to budget my money properly. And thank goodness I found Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money helped me track my subscriptions, and we were able to actually find out that I was double paying for a couple of streaming services. So when that happened, Rocket Money helped me go in, find those double payments, cancel those subscriptions, and actually end up starting to save some money. Then I was able to create that budget for that really sweet vacation that I'm planning on taking, and I took that saved money and I put it into that budget. Also, Rocket Money is helping me set some spending goals each month. So I'm actually able to save a little bit extra here and there each month. So that way I make sure that I reach the fullness of my budget and I can have as much fun as possible on that sweet vacation. Thank you so much to Rocket Money. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. That's rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. A big delusion that a lot of Patriot fans have right now is that they have the clear advantage when it comes to coaching. And the big thing that you see a lot of Pats fans say is, hey, our coaches have been there before and they've done that. We're going to go back to my good friend Henry Lockwood of Pardon My Take here and dive into his latest quote on Pardon My Take about the coaching advantage that the Patriots clearly have over the Seahawks. Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels have been here before. They have been here before. They know what it takes and what they will have to do in the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl. They know every single facet of Super Bowl preparation. They are going to have the Patriots more prepared than the Seahawks. End quote from Hank Lockwood. I didn't realize that Vrabel was a Super Bowl winning head coach. I didn't realize that Mike Vrabel had been to multiple Super Bowls as a head coach and knew all of the twists and turns that were possible. I think too often many people that are rooting for the Patriots or are picking the Patriots are looking at Vrabel's experience as a player and saying, well, now he'll clearly know how to handle it as a head coach. I don't believe in that. Until you go through a Super Bowl run where you are in the position of being a head coach, I don't believe that you fully know what everything could happen. You don't know what could happen maybe on a Tuesday. What if someone gets hurt? What if your quarterback has a sore shoulder? Are you going to be fully prepared the way that you need to be? I'm not going to sit here and say that Vrabel is. So to me, I'm not going to say that Vrabel has a superior coaching advantage to Mike Macdonald. In fact, how often have you been able to look at a Seahawks team since Mike Macdonald took over and say, wow, they really got outcoached today? You might have a quarter where the Seahawks get outcoached. Shoot, you might have a half where the Seahawks get outcoached. Certainly, every once in a while, there's a drive where the Seahawks get outcoached. But how often have you as a fan, because I certainly haven't been able to see it, been able to say, yeah, Mike Macdonald really got outcoached that entire way? It just isn't true. It just doesn't happen. Mike Macdonald will not leave a stone unturned. That doesn't mean that he might not be surprised by a thing here or a thing there. But I'll tell you right now, if there is going to be a coach that I trust more than Mike Macdonald or Mike Vrabel in this situation, it would be our guy in Seattle. Mike Macdonald is going to be prepared for everything that is thrown at him. From the different media sessions that he has to be at, from potential injury reports, Mike Macdonald will be ready to go. And in my eyes, there is no coaching superiority here. And if there is any slight nod that I'm going to give or slight advantage to the coaching staff, it's going to be to the Seahawks coaching staff because they've shown all year that they know how to win. Let me know who you think the best coach is down below in the comment section. If you think it's Vrabes, type MV. If you think it's Macdonald, type MM. I better see a whole lot more MMs. The last delusion that Patriots fans have is the fact that they think they never lose. They've had so many victories as a fan base, whether it's with New England or with their other teams around the Boston area or around that New England area. They think that just because they show up, they're going to win because it's happened so often in their lifetime. And they keep alluding to the fact of, hey, this is the beginning of the new dynasty. Drake May is young, just like Brady was. Well, I'll tell you right now, you are not going to win this game just because you show up. The Patriots are not going to just waltz in to San Francisco, Santa Clara, and come away with a victory. This is a completely different team and a completely different squad. And they're going up against a Seahawks team that is meaner, that is nastier, and is led by better leaders, in my opinion, on the defensive and offensive side of the football. On the offense and defense for the Seahawks, they have guys who have been to the Super Bowl before and have won them. This Seahawks team is going to be loaded for bear, and they are going to come away, in my opinion, with a victory over the Patriots. Feel free, Cold Takes Exposed, to clip that and have that bookmarked ready to go, because I think the Seahawks are going to find a way to win. I've had enough, and it's only in the middle of the week in week 1 of Super Bowl prep. I'm tired of the Patriots fans thinking that it's going to be an easy waltz-in victory, and I think a lot of the Seahawks players are tired of it too. Make sure that you like the video today. Thank you guys so much for viewing it. Don't jinx the Seahawks. Hit that thumbs up button. And as always, hit that subscribe button. We just got over 83K. Thank you so much to everyone who hit that sub button. We are trying to take this thing to the frickin' moon. More subscribers that we have on the channel, the more videos that we're going to be able to do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.